üniversitelerimizi sizlerle bir araya getiriyor olacağız. Bu doğrultuda Sussex Üniversitesi ile başlamak bizi çok mutlu etti. Çünkü İngiltere'de üniversiteler konu bazlı, subject bazlı, fakülte bazlı başarı kazanırlar. Ve University of Sussex'in de hem Sosyal Bilimler Fakültesi hem Fen Bilimleri hem de Mühendislik bölümü çok başarılı. Dünya sıralamalarında çok yüksekteler. Ama öncesinde çok kısa BEB'den bahsetmek istiyorum. Bazı öğrenci ve velilerimiz bizleri tanıyor olabilir. Bugün tanıştığımız yeni öğrenci ve velilerimiz olabilir. Bu vesileyle de hemen kendimizi tanıtıp ben sözü daha sonra Leo'ya bırakmak istiyorum. Biz BEB olarak, British Education Bureau olarak 2002 yılında Oxford'da kurulduk. Sadece İngiltere'deki, Birleşik Krallık'taki üniversitelerin resmi temsilciliğini yapan bir kurumuz. Uzmanlık alanımız Birleşik Krallık. Tüm danışman kadromuz İngiltere'de özel eğitimler alır her sene. Üniversitelerimizin kendi sunduğu özel eğitimleri alır özellikle. Şu anda da hatta British Council'ın eğitimindeyiz. Bütün ekip olarak İstanbul, Ankara, İzmir ekibi olarak hepimiz eğitim alıyoruz. Bilgilerimizi her sene tazeliyoruz. İngiltere'de 130 tane, Birleşik Krallık'ta daha doğrusu 130 tane üniversite vardır ve BEB 90'ın Türkiye'de resmi temsilciliğini yapan bir kurumdur. İzmir, Ankara, İstanbul'da Türkiye'nin her yerindeki her öğrenci ve veliye hizmet sunma şansımız oluyor. Resmi temsilciliğini yaptığımız bu 90 üniversite için de öğrencilerimize tamamen ücretsiz hizmet sunuyoruz. Öncelikle üniversite seçimi neye göre yapılmalı? Onunla ilgili çok kısa ve yararlı bir slaydım var. Öncelikle ülke seçiminde kararlı olmamız lazım. Hangi ülkeyi istiyorsak ondan sonra bölüm seçimi, okul seçimi bölüm seçiminden sonra gelmeli. Özellikle de Birleşik Krallık için bunu söylemeliyim. Çünkü her üniversitede istediğimiz bölüm olmayabilir. Dolayısıyla bölümü seçtikten sonra üniversiteyi seçmenin önemi UK'de çok daha fazladır. Ülkeyi seçtik. Birleşik Krallık'ta Galler'e, İskoçya'ya, İngiltere'ye ya da Kuzey İrlanda'ya gitmek istiyoruz diyelim. Daha sonra okumak istediğimiz bölüm konusunda karar verdik. Sonrasında da hangi bölgede hangi okulu seçebilirime bakıyoruz. Okul seçimi yaparken de okulun öncelikle başarı sıralaması, daha sonra şehir seçimi, Kampüsü Üniversitesi mi olsun, şehir üniversitesi mi olsun bunun seçimi ve sonrasında da sosyal imkanlar, arzu ettiğimiz takdirde de milliyet dağılımına bakarak seçimler yapabiliriz. Milliyet dağılımı noktasında üniversiteler çok şeffaftır. Bu doğrultuda daha katılımcılarımız var, onları da alıyoruz aynı anda. Şeffaflardır milliyet dağılımı konusunda, onlardan da bilgiler edinebiliriz bu konuda. Evet, Birleşik Krallık haritasıyla bir slide gösterisi var, slide'ımız var, çok pardon. Burada Sussex yani güneyde Brighton şehrinde, güneyde ve deniz kenarında olan bir üniversite. Biraz sonra Leo'da çok daha detaylı bilgi verecektir bu konuda. Birleşik Krallık'taki eğitim sistemiyle ilgili çok kısa bilgi aktarmak isterim. 130 tane devlet üniversitesi vardır. Özel üniversite sayısı 3'tür. Dolayısıyla Türkiye'deki yapıdan çok daha farklı bir yapısı var Birleşik Krallığın. Eğitim sistemi olarak da öyle. Devlet üniversiteleri çok daha fazla bütçeler alırlar, eğitim fonları alır. Dolayısıyla kendilerini çok daha fazla geliştirme şansına sahiplerdir. Yok denkliği mevcuttur. Yok denkliği mevcudiyetini gitmeden önce de YÖK'e sorgulayarak bunu edinebiliyoruz. İngiltere'de interaktif bir eğitim vardır. Yani öğrenciyi de aslında eğitimin içine alan monolog değil, diyalog şeklinde devam eder eğitim. Lisans eğitimi İngiltere'de, Galler'de ve Kuzey İrlanda'da 3 yıldır, İskoçya'da 4 yıldır. Lisans öncesi eğer istediğimiz üniversiteye gerekli olan not ortalamamız yeterli değilse bir yıl foundation okuma şansımız olabiliyor. Bu hazırlık yılıdır. Türkiye'deki hazırlık yılından çok farklıdır yalnız. İngilizce hazırlık değildir çünkü. %60 okumak istediğimiz, eğitim almak istediğimiz bölümün derslerinin alındığı bir yıldır. %40 da İngilizce, nasıl essay yazılır, proje nasıl hazırlanır gibi derslerin olduğu bir program sunulur. Bu hazırlık yılı master öğrencilerimiz için de geçerli. Yani master öncesi bir yıl pre-master'da yapabiliyor öğrenciler. Doktora eğitimi, lisans eğitimi, yüksek lisans eğitimi 1 yıldır İngiltere'de. Doktora eğitimi de 3 yıldır. Geçtiğimiz yıl yürürlüğe giren farklı bir artısı var Birleşik Krallık'ın. Öğrencisine mezuniyet sonrası 2 yıl daha şartsız bir şekilde oturum izniyle iş bulma imkanı sunuyor. Yani öğrencilerimiz mezuniyet sonrası arzu ettikleri takdirde İngiltere'de kalmaya devam edip kendi alanlarında iş bulmak için ülkede kalmaya devam edebiliyorlar. Pardon. Katılım devam ediyor. Katılım devam edince ben slide atlatamıyorum. Peki, çok farklı çok geniş bir yelpazesi var seçebileceğimiz bölümlerin İngiltere'de. Sussex'i seçebileceklerimizi biraz sonra yetkilimizden dinliyor olacağız. İngiltere'de bahsetmiş olduğumuz 3 yıllık eğitim 3 farklı ana bilim dalında biraz daha farklılık gösterir. Tıp fakültesi, mimarlık ve hukuk okumak isteyen öğrencilerimiz için 3 yıllık eğitim şu şekilde geçerli olur. Tıp için bu geçerli değil. Tıp için mutlaka 5-6 yıl okunması gerekir. Daha sonra Türkiye'ye gelip uzmanlığını yapabilir öğrenciler. Mimarlık için 3 yıl okuduktan sonra Türkiye'ye dönüp Mimarlar Odası'na kayıt yaptırabilir ve YÖK denkliği sonrasında da mimar olarak devam edebilir. Gördüğümüz eğitim süreci eğer İngiltere'de ya da Avrupa'da ya da dünyanın herhangi farklı bir ülkesinde uzman doktor olarak görev almak istiyorsak ya da uzman mimar olarak ya da avukat olarak, savcı olarak, hakim olarak hayatımızın kariyerimize bu şekilde devam etmek istiyorsak tamamlamamız gereken bir süreçtir. Türkiye için geçerli değildir. Tıp fakültesi hariç mimarlığı 3 yıl okuyup Türkiye'ye döndükten sonra mimar olabiliriz. Hukuk fakültesini 3 yıl okuduktan sonra Türkiye'ye dönüp fark derslerini de yarım dönemde aldıktan sonra baroya kaydımızı yapıp avukat olarak Türkiye Barosu'na kaydımızı yaptırabiliyoruz. Bu gördüğünüz eğitim süreci eğer Türkiye'ye dönmeyip Avrupa'da, dünyanın farklı bir ülkesinde ya da İngiltere'de kariyerimize devam etmek istiyorsak izlememiz gereken bir süreç. İngiltere'deki üniversitelerin, Sussex'in de çok fazla bu konudaki seçeneği. Undergraduate bölümlerinde yani lisans eğitimi almak isteyen öğrencilerimiz için üniversiteler bir yıl arzu edersek bizi sektörel bazlı bir iş tecrübesi sahibi olmamızı sağlıyorlar. Her üniversitede ve her bölümde olan bir durum değildir bu. Örneğin Sussex'te bir iki örnek verelim. Psikolojide, finansta, makine mühendisliği ve Computer Sciences'te mevcut olan bir durum. Öğrenci 2 yıl eğitimini alıyor. 3. yıl üniversite tarafından profesyonel bir firmaya yerleştiriliyor. 1 yıl boyunca profesyonel bir iş deneyimi ediniyor. Aynı zamanda da maaş alıyor. Profesyonel bir maaş. Asgari ücret değil. O alanda alınması gereken tutarı alıyor öğrenci. 1 yıl sonrasında tekrar üniversitesine geri dönüp son yılını tamamlıyor ve 4 yıldaki programını tamamlamış olarak mezun oluyor. Bu çok güzel bir fırsat. Ben kesinlikle tüm lisans öğrencilerimize öneriyoruz bunu. Study Abroad Year ise gene 3 yıl olan eğitimimizin 1 yılını üniversitenin anlaşmalı olduğu dünyanın farklı ülkelerine gidip oradaki eğitimi alarak 1 yıl boyunca oradan da bir diploma almayı sağlıyor Study Abroad Year. Bunu da biraz sonra Yetkilimizden daha detaylı dinleme şansımız olacak. Ben şimdi sözü Leo'ya bırakacağım. Bizleri internet sayfamızdan ve sosyal medya ile alakalı diğer alanlardan takip etmeye devam edebilirsiniz. Bir sonraki seminer serimizde de sizleri görmek isteriz. Dediğim gibi çok değerli üniversitelerle sizleri bir araya getiriyor olacağız. Ben teşekkür ederim. Sunum sonrasında sorularınız olursa bana da olacaktır eminim, Leo'ya da olacaktır. Chatroom'dan yazarsanız lütfen sorularınıza tek tek yanıt vermeye çalışıyor olacağız. Ben şimdi sözü Leo'ya aktarıyorum. Yetkilimiz Leo Cutting. Hi Leo, I have finished my presentation. Thank you very much. I would like to pass it to you now.
Great, thank you very much. Well, let me attempt to get my slides up on the screen there. Can you see those now?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you for the introduction. And welcome to all of you, and thank you for joining me at this session to talk a little bit about the University of Sussex. So just to introduce myself a little bit first, I'm Leo. I work at the University of Sussex. I've been at Sussex for about 5 years. So I've worked at the university a really long time. In terms of my background, educationally, I was a law student. I was a law undergraduate. I did an LLM in law as well. So I did quite an extensive law education. I've worked in universities for about 8 years, and I recently also did my MBA part-time at the University of Sussex. So I've spent really about 7 years at university studying in different capacities. So I very much kind of have a good understanding of what it's like to be a student and to work at a university. So hopefully the things I tell you in the next sort of 20 minutes or so will be interesting and relevant to you. You're more than welcome to ask questions by typing into the chat box or the Q&A box, and we will answer those at the end. So it's very nice to meet you. So first of all, just to introduce the University of Sussex and explain to you what Sussex is about. You know, universities are places of learning, of teaching and research. The University of Sussex has an ambition to really make a positive impact on the world, to help to solve some of the grand issues of our time. We're living in very difficult times and very unusual circumstances. And Sussex has a real ambition to make sure that we not only kind of, you know, prepare graduates who are able to go out and get a good job, making a good salary, but also graduates that are going to be prepared for the future of this world and prepared to kind of live within sort of, you know, the various challenges that we face. So this is our ethos, and we really believe that this is an important thing to strive towards, to be this better university for this better world. And if that sounds good to you, then hopefully over the next sort of 20 minutes or so, you'll be interested in hearing more about what the University of Sussex can offer you in terms of education. First of all, though, I'll just talk a little bit about location, and I know that Sevda kindly talked a little bit about kind of, you know, the UK and where Brighton is. So the University of Sussex is located in the city of Brighton. The name Sussex is of the county, which is like the region where Brighton is based, but the campus of the university itself is in the city, Brighton. Some of you may be familiar with Brighton already. It's a very popular holiday destination. A lot of students from Turkey go and study English in Brighton. Any of you who follow football, the Premier League, might be familiar with Brighton and Hove Albion, which is the local Premier League football team as well. It's a beach town, which I personally love. It's right by the sea. It's got a fantastic stretch of beach, and in the summer it's one of the nicest places in the UK to be. And in terms of location, we are here, so we're just 1 hour away from central London by train. Sometimes Brighton gets called London on Sea because it's so close to London. It's very easy for people who live in London to sort of make a quick train journey down to Brighton for the day. But Brighton is very much a separate city. It's much smaller than London. It's more relaxed. And it's very well located within the UK, both for reaching London, reaching airports. So Gatwick Airport, which is served by Turkish Airlines, so very easy to get to and from Turkey, is just half an hour away from the campus. So it's very easy to get to the campus. And it's also, if you want to take the Eurostar, it's very easy to get to Paris by train as well from Brighton. So it's very well located. And it's also just a really great surrounding. So the campus itself is just outside of the city of Brighton. And you can see in the top image here, the campus is located just here. And then you can see just over the road on the left is the football stadium that I mentioned. In terms of the campus, we're unique in England because we're actually entirely surrounded by a national park. So we're located in this area of outstanding beauty just outside of the city centre, and it's a really green, safe and pleasant environment to be in. And because of this slightly kind of, outside of the city and green environment, we've been able to keep operating quite successfully throughout this very difficult period with the coronavirus. We've continued teaching all the way through on campus, and we're still doing on-campus teaching now. And so, we're a good place to be from that perspective too. In terms of the campus, it's almost like a kind of small student city in that we have more or less all of the facilities you're going to need throughout your time studying. You will want to go to Brighton, but you don't necessarily have to because we've got things like food shops, markets, we've got a doctor's on campus, a dentist, sports facilities, obviously the library and all of the educational facilities as well. So it's all located within this single site campus, which makes it a really nice place to be a student. If you want to take a look around the campus, I do recommend having a look at our virtual reality tour. We do a 360 tour of the campus on our website, and you can find this very easily just by going to the University of Sussex website and checking out the virtual tour. But it's quite a nice way to experience the campus and sort of, take a little look around, look at some of our accommodation, look at some of our lecture theatres and facilities. You can check out the sports facilities as well. So that's a bit about kind of our location and what the campus is like. But of course, the main thing that you're going to be thinking about, and the first and most important thing you're going to be thinking about when deciding where to study, is what subjects you want to study and whether the university is going to be right for you from a subject point of view. Now, I don't have enough time to talk you through all of the individual subjects that we teach at the University of Sussex, because we teach a really broad range. From anthropology all the way to zoology. So it's really the A to Z of subjects. But you can see on this slide here, the overall subject areas that we offer at both the undergraduate level, the master's level, and at PhD. And you can see that most subject clusters are available at Sussex. So the chances are we will have something along the lines of what you want to study. And then it's a question of going into the detail of those subject areas on our online prospectus and checking whether the course is the right fit for you. And that's something that I'd really encourage you to do to make sure that fit is there. So having said that, I can't go through all the subjects. I do want to just talk you through some of the more popular areas that we have and that might be interesting to some of you. And the first of those is the University of Sussex Business School. Business is obviously a very popular subject around the world, and particularly at Sussex. The business school has really grown into one of the kind of premier business schools in the UK. In terms of the research that we do and the income we bring in through research, we're placed third in the UK for that. So some of the research we're doing at the business school in things like the future of work, in innovation, these things are really kind of world leading and definitely leading in the UK. Overall, the business school is ranked in the top 10 in the UK. So we're very much up there with the top business schools overall. And you can also see some additional rankings here from the QS World Rankings. Some of our master's programs in particular are very well ranked. So we have our Global Supply Chain and Logistics course, which is ranked 32nd in the world. Our MBA is in the European top 50. For marketing as well, we're very good, and we're in the top 50 in the world for our marketing programs as well. So the business school is definitely somewhere that is very popular. And if you are considering a degree in business, then I would definitely take a look at the University of Sussex. You can see in this image, by the way, this is our Bloomberg Financial Markets Lab. So here you can actually kind of access live trading information and essentially kind of do artificial trades using kind of, fake money so that you can kind of get a feeling for investments and finance. So a lot of our finance and accounting and banking students will go and work in that lab. The other thing to highlight here is that the University of Sussex Business School is accredited by Equus and by AMBER, and these are two of the kind of main accreditation bodies that recognize business schools, and they're really kind of a stamp of quality as well. So all some things to be very aware of. Another area of subjects at Sussex that's extremely popular and well known is development studies, and some of you may be interested in this as a kind of option. development is a branch of international relations focused very much on kind of, global development and kind of poverty alleviation. Lots of our students go and work in things like NGOs and charities, the United Nations, the World Bank, these kind of places. And if you're interested in a career in that area, then Sussex is a really good choice, because we've actually been ranked #1 in the world for development studies for the last 4 years in a row. And you can see the ranking there. So this year, University of Sussex is first in the world, followed by Oxford, Harvard, LSE, and Cambridge. So we really are up there with the very, very best in the world. And that's something we're very proud of. Just to let you know that when it comes to development, we teach it across a really broad range of schools. At the undergraduate level, we have an international relations and development course, and also a development and economics course at the master's level in the business school. We teach in the Institute of Development Studies, and we also teach education and development and media and development courses as well. So that's something for a few of you to be aware of. And the final course area I just want to highlight is artificial intelligence, and computer science more generally is something that Sussex is very well known for, particularly AI, because the University of Sussex was actually one of the pioneering universities in AI back in the 1970s. We started the conversation about artificial intelligence and artificial consciousness all the way back in the 70s. And we have a variety of courses available in that area as well. So that's something for you to be aware of. And you can see both our undergraduate and our master's programs in computer science and AI on the slide here. And of course, there are many more. For example, for psychology, which I know is very popular, we're in the World Top 100 for psychology in the Times Education World rankings. We're also in the top 50 in the world for social sciences more generally. And yeah, our overall ranking is top 20 in the UK, and that covers, all of our subject areas. So Sussex is a quality university, and it teaches courses that are very well regarded. They're also very well regarded by employers. And this is really important for you because, of course, after your studies, you're going to want to be getting a job. And the fact that the University of Sussex is very well known and has this reputation is really important for you in terms of finding those career opportunities after you graduate as well. In fact, at our undergraduate level in particular, and I think Sevda referred to this in her introduction, we do offer at the undergraduate level a very large number of courses that include an option to do an industrial placement. And an industrial placement is essentially the opportunity to do usually an extra year on your degree, where you actually go and spend a year working in a company, as an employee, being paid, and you can kind of get some really excellent work experience by doing that. Now, it's important for you to know that even though you're doing an extra year of study, it's not an extra year of tuition fees. We only charge 15% of our normal international tuition fee when you're doing a placement year. So actually, it's much cheaper to do that extra year. And because you're being paid, the finances work out much more advantageous than you might think. You can see some of the companies here that we've had students go and do placements at, and hopefully you'll recognize plenty of these. For example, L'Oreal, HP, GlaxoSmithKline, PricewaterhouseCoopers, some really big companies here. And the important thing to know about this is that if you do go and do a placement year with a company as part of your degree, that's really amazing opportunity both for you to get experience for your CV to use in future job applications and interviews, but also it really is a one-year job interview. And many students who do a placement with some of these companies, they will be considered for a permanent role after they graduate as well. So this is just something that's important for you to be aware of. In terms of our tuition fees, our scholarships and awards, our tuition fees, this is an approximate amount that you can see on the slide here. Our fees will range, but for international students, it will usually be between these two numbers of £18,500 per year and £23,000 per year. Now, obviously, at the master's level, it's a one-year course, so it's a total amount. At the undergraduate level, it's usually a three-year course, so it would be per year. We have got a really competitive scholarship portfolio available, and my colleagues at BEB have been very successful over the years at helping students to get scholarships at the University of Sussex, and I think this year it will be even better than ever. We have the Sussex'teki scholarship, so if you are applying for a master's degree, then there is this scholarship available to you, which is worth £3,000 as a discount off your tuition fee. We also have the Chancellor's International Scholarship, which is an undergraduate and a master's award. So no matter who you are, if you're looking at undergraduate or master's, you can apply for that scholarship, and that's worth £5,000 and is considered on a competitive basis. And in addition to these scholarships, if you are applying for a business school program as a master's student or an engineering or computer science program as a master's student, we also have these additional £3,000 awards that we will be offering in 2021. And this is to celebrate our 60th anniversary. The University of Sussex will be turning 60 next year. So that's why we have those awards in place. So there's a really good financial package available, and there are more scholarships in addition to this that you should check out on our website as well. But these are just some examples of what is available in terms of funding. And the reason we have these is that we, as much as we can, we want to bring in the best students from all over the world, regardless of their financial position. We're really keen to attract the very best, and if you join us, it's because you are one of the best students. So it's really important to us that we are able to recognize that with scholarships and awards. In terms of entry requirements, I've kind of briefly covered these here because obviously it's a big audience with different backgrounds. On the undergraduate side, if you're in high school and you're doing a Turkish high school system, we may well be able to accept you directly onto an undergraduate degree without needing a foundation year. So it's always good to speak to a BEB counsellor to find out whether Sussex would be able to admit you directly without a foundation year. If you're doing the IB, then of course we can accept you directly, and that's the case for A levels as well. And at the postgraduate level, essentially if you have a good GPA from your bachelor's degree in Turkey, then you can apply for a master's degree program. GPAs as a standard is 3.0 overall, but it depends on the university you've been to. If you've been to one of Turkey's very best universities, we may have some flexibility on that, so that's something to be aware of too. Also, a requirement is English. So we accept a really wide range of English tests. You do need to show evidence of your English language ability as part of your application. However, it's important to say that you don't need to have an English test when you apply. You can submit that later on. So if you want to apply for a master's degree, for example, now, but you don't have an English test yet, you can still apply, but you can just submit an English test to us at any point prior to your starting of the program. So we accept a range of courses and also certificates, including IELTS, which is probably the most famous. We also accept TOEFL, the Pearson test of English, and we're actually accepting the Duolingo online English test as well during the pandemic, when it's been harder for students to take an English test. So at the moment, we're accepting the Duolingo test as well. So that website at the bottom there covers all of the different tests that we accept for English, so you can find out more information about those there. So I really want to just tell you a little bit more about specifically the Careers and Employability Centre that we have at the University of Sussex. I mentioned placements already, but it's really important to me that you're aware of, the commitment that the university has, not only to your education, but also to supporting you in your future career. And we have a dedicated Careers and Employability Centre that are there to help you to find job opportunities, both while you're studying and after you graduate. So as some of you may be aware, the UK is in the process of introducing a new graduate visa route that will allow students who are from overseas who finish a degree in the UK to work 2 years after they graduate. So this really creates a much more level playing field for graduates in the UK from other countries, and it will mean that you do have the opportunity to apply for jobs and work in jobs after graduation in the UK. And this is a great opportunity. It means that you have much more in terms of employment opportunities. And the Careers and Employability Centre are going to be there to help you to apply for jobs. They run a wide range of careers fairs with employers coming in to meet with our students and find out, whether they're the right fit for their company. We offer skill development programs, career workshops. So if you're wondering how to write a CV in the UK, we'll offer a class or a development program on how to do that. And we'll actually check over your CV and check that it's a good fit for the kind of jobs you're applying for. We advertise a range of jobs. We advertise about 3,500 jobs annually. And we actually promote around 200 to 300 on-campus jobs that you can do while you're studying part-time as well. So there are plenty of opportunities both for you while you're studying and also after you graduate. And the Careers and Employability Centre are actually there to help you for a couple of years after you graduate as well. So if you are still conducting your job hunt or you're looking to change career after graduation, within a couple of years, you can go back to them and get more advice if you wish. And that's something that's useful to be aware of as well. I'll just talk a little bit now, and I'm almost finished. I've almost come to the end of my slides, but I just want to talk a little bit about accommodation. I've already shown you the campus, and we do guarantee international students accommodation in the first year of their studies. So if you're an undergraduate, you'll be guaranteed accommodation for your first year by the university, and also as a master's student, you'll be getting accommodation as well. We have a range of on-campus and off-campus accommodation. These are some of the on-campus options. And I've just put here a kind of summary of the different options. And as you can see, we've got a range both in terms of price and also in terms of kind of the setup. So some of the accommodations are en suite, so you have your own private bathroom in your room. Others are shared bathroom, and as you can see, the costs will vary depending on which option you go for. But it's good to know that there is that range available so it can fit your budget. Something to be aware of is that the University of Sussex doesn't do any shared rooms, so you'll always have your own private room. And another thing to highlight is that the university accommodation is self-catered. So we do have lots of canteens and cafes and restaurants on the campus that you can go to if you don't want to cook. But every accommodation will have a kitchen that you have access to, so that if you do want to cook for yourself, then you can do that. And that's usually quite good because it tends to work out cheaper to cook for yourself rather than eating in the university provided cafeterias all the time. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And of course, we have a housing team, and they're there to support you with both applying for university accommodation and also applying for private accommodation in the city of Brighton, if that's something you would prefer to do. So there's me, and these are my details. So that's pretty much it in terms of an overview of the University of Sussex. I wanted to just give you my email address, my WhatsApp number as well, because my role is to help students from Turkey to come to the University of Sussex. That's what I do day to day. And essentially, I'm here to support you with any applications, any questions you have. My colleagues at BEB are also there to kind of give you support as well. So you've got a wealth of people available to help. But do rely on me and do kind of be aware that I exist, because I am kind of, the person to come to in the first instance at the university if you have doubts or if you have concerns. So I just wanted to share my details as well, and to let you know that there is somebody who's thinking about kind of, how to make your journey to Sussex easier, taking care of you. And I think that that's something that if you do apply to Sussex, you'll find very valuable. So hopefully that's helpful. So that is everything from me in terms of an overview of the university. So I'll hand back to my colleagues at BEB, and if we've had any questions coming in, I'll be very happy to answer those as well.
Thank you very much, Leo, for your great presentation. I'm just checking the chat box whether there's any questions are coming. One of our students would like to know, after LLM, she is an undergraduate law student now, and she would like to study LLM after the graduation. She has to take a bar exam or not? She would like to know.
Okay, so I guess this is a question about practicing law in the UK. So it's a really interesting question, Selin. Thank you for asking. And as I mentioned, I'm a law graduate myself, so I do have maybe more information about this than your average university delegate. However, everything is changing at the moment in the UK in terms of qualifying to the legal profession. So it depends on what year you're planning to do your LLM. But the previous system was that you would have to do an undergraduate degree in law in the UK, followed by a practical legal training course, and then you would do kind of pupilages to become a barrister, or you would do training contracts to become a solicitor, because we have two types of legal profession in the UK. That's all changing at the moment, and it's now going to be a little bit more streamlined. But the crucial thing is that it's no longer going to be necessary to have a undergraduate degree in law necessarily to qualify as a lawyer. There will instead be a system that's more similar to a little bit more similar to how it is in the US, where there are essentially kind of a series of exams that you have to take to qualify as a legal professional. So that's a very long-winded answer to your question, which is to say that it's something that you need to research a little bit. Also have a chat with counsellors at BEB for some advice. But in short, if these changes are rolled out, it means that what you can do is essentially do an LLM in law at Sussex, and you can then take these exams to then go on to qualify as a lawyer in the UK. There is some really, really good information out there on the internet about this, so it's something to read up in a little bit more detail, but just to be aware that the system is changing at the moment, so it's all a little bit in flux.
Thank you, Leo. And another question is about PhD scholarship opportunities at University of Sussex.
Yeah. So when it comes to PhD funding, PhDs are quite different to undergraduate degrees and master's degrees. It's much more of a kind of a role within the university that you spend quite a lot of time on. You're working with a supervisor. Now, some universities have PhD scholarships that are very clearly publicized on their website, and it's that we have this many scholarships, you just apply for them and that's it. At Sussex, it's a little bit more complicated because the PhD funding is actually siloed between the different schools. So we do have funding for PhD students, but it depends on the school of interest that you have, and also depends on the faculty member that's going to supervise your PhD. So if you're thinking about becoming a PhD researcher at the University of Sussex, the first thing to do is to think about, okay, have I got my research proposal done? And if I have, which academics at the university are the right fit for my research? What I would then recommend you do is to actually contact those academics directly, and we list all of our academics' research interests on our website. You can contact them and you can say, look, you know, I'm interested, I know that you write on this area, I'm interested in researching this area as well. Would you be interested in supervising my PhD, and do you have any funding available for this? And essentially it's kind of more of a sort of networking style of finding out about funding. So there are opportunities to be teaching assistants and research assistants, but it tends to be rolled into this funding that academics might have. So I hope that's somewhat helpful. It's at Sussex, it's more a case of going individually to the faculty and finding out what funding might be available.
Okay, another question from the same student or a parent. Is it possible to be a TA or RA?
Yeah, so as I say, so I think I sort of covered that, but essentially, yes, there are occasionally teaching assistant and research assistant roles, they do come up. So that can be a way of supplementing your living costs as well. And I've had both PhD students and master's students doing research assistant roles in the past.
Mm-hmm. Another one is about the sports scholarships. Is there any opportunities about this?
Yeah, we do have sports scholarships. And I can see they've also asked whether there's a sailing team at the university. So sports scholarships, yes, we do. And it will be... And the sports scholarships are essentially awarded to students who are competing at a kind of national level usually. So if you are a kind of elite sports person, what you can do is you can get in touch with the university, you can get in touch with me in fact, and I can kind of refer to the person, the sort of sports management side, and they can kind of give you information about what scholarships are there. It depends on the level essentially. There's kind of sort of bronze, silver and gold tiers of scholarships worth somewhere between kind of 500 and sort of £1,000 plus kind of free gym membership, physio and that kind of thing. With regards to the question about there being a sailing team, yeah, there's a sailing club. Because we're by the sea, we do have kind of access to the opportunity to go sailing. So we do have a club. I'm not sure if they sail competitively, but it is something that you'll be able to find out quite easily on our sort of clubs and societies pages on our website.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you. And one of our students would like to know about the rankings about electronics and electrical engineering of the University of Sussex. A specific question.
Yeah, I don't actually have, yeah, it is specific. I'm afraid I have to confess I don't have the specific ranking for that subject area kind of off the top of my head, and it's important I don't kind of guess in case I get it wrong. So, but what I would say is that it's quite easy to find these things. So you can have a look at Times Higher Education World Rankings. There's also the UK rankings like The Guardian, the Good University Guide, the Complete University Guide. So have a look on the various rankings, and it's quite easy to find which universities are ranked where.
Mm-hmm. And another one is there any chance to combine two scholarships? For example, Chancellor scholarships and Turkish National Scholarship?
It's a really good question. In short, it's can be a bit confusing, but the short answer is you can't combine two scholarships. So if you get the Chancellor's International Scholarship, which is worth £5,000, then you wouldn't also be able to get the Turkey Scholarship. So you would get £5,000 instead of 3. However, the awards that I mentioned, the Business School and Engineering Awards that we're kind of giving to master's applicants, those you can combine with scholarships because they're technically two separate things, scholarships and awards. So if you are applying for a business master's degree program, if you get the Turkey Scholarship, you will also be able to get the Business School Award, and that will combine to make a £6,000 discount on your fees. If you get the Chancellor's International Scholarship and you're applying for a business program, that's £5,000 and another £3,000 for the Business School Awards, so that makes £8,000. So you can combine scholarships and awards, but not two scholarships. Hope that's a little bit clearer. It's a tiny bit complicated, but you know, you'll get there.
Thank you. And other question is about the facilities of engineering department.
Yeah, the facilities of the engineering department are actually really good. So we have a School of Engineering and Informatics, so we combine engineering and computer science together, and there is a lot of crossover between those two departments. They are all based in our Future Technologies lab, which we kind of opened or reopened a few years ago now. We invested about £12 million in our facilities in this lab. And what that means is that we've really got very up-to-date kit and equipment. So, for example, our computers are extremely high spec because we do a lot of work around big data and we have data science students. So the computers run very fast. We've got programmable robots, we've got drones, we have 3D printers based in the engineering department as well. We also have a full-size jet engine on the campus as well that we do research with our mechanical engineers with. So the facilities are very good and they have been very recently updated. So you can definitely find out more about those on the website, of course, but hopefully that gives you a flavor.
Thank you. Another specific question is about the law. Most preferable LLM degree programs our students would like to know.
Okay, so when it says preferable, what would you interpret that as meaning?
Most popular, I think.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing about LLMs, right? So I did an LLM program myself. Now, I studied public international law, which is essentially kind of the law between nations. So, you know, it's sort of, you know, one country gets into a conflict with another country or there's a trade dispute with another country. Now, that is quite a kind of often quite theoretical area of law. To be very honest, there didn't seem to be a huge number of jobs available at the time in that area because you have to be very, very kind of high level to go and work for a country's government in law or like the UN. So a lot of students go for things like commercial law, trade law. If you're looking to get a job in the UK in a law firm, then you'll often find that these more commercial areas are the ones that the bigger kind of employers are looking for because essentially they're making a lot of money out of things like mergers and acquisitions, contracts, things like that. So the popular subject areas at Sussex are across these two areas. We have an international law program and we have a human rights law program, which are very, very popular. And then on the other side, on the kind of more commercial side, we have international commercial law. We also do intellectual property law, which is an area that is not that popular at the moment. But if I were doing it all again and I was thinking purely that in terms of what kind of course will help me get a good job when I graduate, intellectual property law seems to me to be a very, very good bet in terms of applying for jobs. Because essentially technology is the kind of new oil, you know, everyone's thinking about data and data protection and intellectual property. And I think that will be a very strong area as well. But the honest answer is that, you know, you should think about what area of law you're interested in. That's the real key to success. So that's a bit of a kind of fudge of an answer, but hopefully it gives some insights.
Thank you. And one of our participants is from Northern Cyprus. And is there any change of tuition fee for her?
Oh, okay, I understand. The answer, so I mean, you need to do a separate fee assessment. The answer is probably not, though, because essentially EU citizens and international and people who are from outside the EU are from next year going to be charged the same tuition fee anyway because of the UK leaving the European Union. So the fee is likely to be the same regardless of whether you're from Northern Cyprus or Turkey or anywhere else.
a master course for LLM, I think, GPA requirement. One of our students would like to know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of is important to see sort of a full profile before making a kind of individual assessment. As I said in the presentation, we'd normally be looking for a GPA of around 3.0 to kind of get onto most of our master's programs. But if you've gone to a really good university, or you have extracurriculars and things like that, you might find that you're able to get an offer with slightly below that.
Mm-hmm. One more specific question is now about physics department. What would you say about this?
The physics department, well, physics is an area that is sort of, it's a bit more niche, but we do have some really excellent research in things like cosmology and quantum computing in particular. So these are two areas of the physics department. So we do kind of theoretical physics and we do kind of pure physics as well. But if you're interested in kind of space and cosmology, or if you're interested in quantum computing, these are the two big areas of research at the physics department.
Mm-hmm. And a scholarship opportunity for accommodation or living costs, kind of discounts, I think.
Yeah, short answer is that at Sussex we only have tuition fee scholarships. So anything beyond that is outside of what Sussex offers. There are kind of, government scholarships provided by the UK. So there's the Chevening Scholarship, which covers tuition fees and living costs and accommodation. But Sussex University, our scholarships only cover tuition fees.
Mm-hmm. And another interesting question, is there any competition for Turkish scholarship of the University of Sussex?
So essentially, when it comes to the Sussexteki scholarship, we've just launched it this year. Essentially, we don't have a limited number of them. So in terms of, it's not kind of, a question of like, we're only going to give out this many and then after that we stop, but we'll only kind of give them to deserving students. So when we're considering your application, we'll also consider you for the Turkey scholarship. So it's worth applying and kind of doing your best on your application, because we're not just considering you for the course, we're also considering you for the scholarship.
Mm-hmm. And another question is about kind of double major opportunity. Is there any possibility for that?
Yeah, there are actually. So I'm assuming the question is from a potential undergraduate student, because that would be, an undergraduate level. We do have lots of courses that are double majors, so you can combine a very broad number of subjects. If you have a look at our prospectus, you can see the options that are there. In addition to that, we also have something called Sussex Choice, which actually lets you do almost kind of a major and a minor situation, in terms of you'll do 2/3 of your degree in one subject area and then you'll do a pathway in another, or you can do lots of electives from different areas. So we're more flexible in terms of you studying more than one subject area or undergraduate degree level. Some of the courses are more restrictive on this, especially if they have kind of professional accreditations. But for many of our courses, if you want to say combine economics and psychology, you can probably do that. Or if there are lots of options there.
Mm-hmm. One more interesting question is like a specific one. Is there like adaptation? Is about the university adaptation for the international students? Is it easy or?
Yeah. Okay. So I see the question. Yeah, from Zelha. So the University of Sussex. So I'm in the international office to help you with your journey towards the university. We also have another team called the International Student Support Team that are there to help you when you arrive. So we have something called Welcome Week, which is 7 days before you start your courses. When you move into your accommodation, there's essentially kind of orientation. So we help you open a bank account, we help you sign up with the local doctor, we do kind of lots of introductory events to help you kind of meet new people and meet your housemates. So we do a lot to support international students in terms of adapting. If you need academic support, we have that in place as well. Something to remember is that the UK has been receiving international students for probably longer than any other country. So we really do have a long history of making sure that international students adapt and are successful. If you join Sussex, you will be probably surrounded by about 25% of the student body also being an international student. So you will not be the only one, and that means that there is a lot of support available.
Mm-hmm. And one more question is about payments. Is it have to be a kind of made in full each time? I mean, each year, or
it's a choice. So essentially, we can either have a situation where you pay the tuition in full at the start of each academic year, or you can divide it into 3 installments. So there's an option there.
Okay, thank you. One more ranking question about international relations and history.
Yeah, that's a really interesting combination of courses. That sounds great. And Sussex has a really good reputation in both of these areas. Both of these, so international relations would fall under social sciences, where we're ranked in the world top 50. And the combination of the two, I'm less sure on what a kind of overall history ranking would be, but we do have a very, very good history department, especially in things like American history and things like that. So it will depend on the kind of area of history you're looking at. But I would say that this is a kind of subject area that Sussex is very well known for and very well regarded in. So I think that would be quite a good choice for you.
Thank you. I'm just checking whether is there any kind of questions are coming.
Some really good questions. So thank you to everyone for asking them. I saw a few questions about the various sports scholarships, and does it include basketball? Does it include volleyball? We're quite flexible about the different sports that are involved in the sports scholarship. So really it's more about the level you're competing at. If you're competing at a national or international level, we're usually interested to hear from you if it's a recognized sport. If it's a very niche sport that no one's, particularly kind of following, maybe that would be different. But if it's volleyball or basketball, that would be included, yes.
So thank you very much again for the presentation. And yeah, one more question. SAT exams, does it taking undergraduate applications, the SAT exams?
So the SATs tend to be kind of more of a US focused test than a UK focused one. Now, it depends on what kind of school you're at. If you are studying the Turkish high school diploma, but you're also doing SATs, it might be a benefit because it might help to show some additional kind of aptitude to kind of convince admissions that you have the specific knowledge in certain areas to get you a place. If you're doing the IB or if you're doing A-levels, then the SAT exams are fine to do, but they probably won't add a huge amount to your application. So it depends on what you're doing. If you're doing Turkish high school exams and you want to take the SAT exams, that's fine, and that can probably add something to your application. If you're doing IB or A-levels, then as far as the UK is concerned, SATs is probably not necessary.
Thank you.
I think there is one more we're missing. It's Eylül from Eylül Kabakçı. She's asking about the scholarship awards for LLM.
Oh, right. Okay. So, yeah, so we don't, in the way that we have for the business school and for the engineering, unfortunately, we don't have an additional award for the LLMs, although the LLM programs are actually cheaper in the first place than the business school and engineering courses. So they're around £18,000 or £19,000. But the Turkey scholarship is available for those courses, as is the Chancellor's International Scholarship. So you're likely to be able to get some kind of tuition fee discount if you have good grades.
Thank you. Thank you, Leo. I think, yeah, you're welcome, Eylül. I think we have all the questions now. Thank you very much, Leo, for your participation.
My pleasure.
It's very great listening to University of Sussex and also the campus and the lovely city Brighton. Thank you for your time. It was very useful. Thank you. Çok teşekkürler sevgili öğrenciler, değerli veliler, zamanınızı ayırdınız, dahil oldunuz. Sussex'te tanışma şansı elde ettiniz. Bir sonraki sunumlarımızda yeniden bir araya gelmek dileğiyle diyelim. Teşekkürler. İyi akşamlar. Sağ olun.